Hey guys, it's Maher. In this video, we're going to be going over on how I'd make $100,000 if I was starting over with real estate investing. The things we're going to go over in today's video is, this one industry that made the most millionaires in today's world, why it's easier than other industries, and a clear blueprint on how we're going to get from 0 to 100K the fastest way possible, and why anybody can do it. And we're going to be going over real numbers and real examples. So yeah, again, this video is going to be on how I'd make $100,000 if I was starting over from scratch. So why do you guys want to listen to me? My name is Maher. I've scaled a flipping business to multiple six figures a year with no experience. I flipped my first property when I was 22 years old, and our average flip is around $40,000 to $50,000 per deal. Our average wholesale fee is around $20,000 to $25,000, and a wholesale is basically getting into a real estate deal with $0 out of pocket. I've built systems to fix and flip real estate while I'm in Dubai. I'm currently living full-time in Dubai. My fix and flip business is in Las Vegas. So we do everything 100% remotely. And another reason why you want to listen to me is because, we're in this business day to day. We're not just teaching how to do this. We actually do this full-time. We're in the trenches, talking to sellers and comping deals and, looking at deals every single day. Why this works, 90% of millionaires that I know invest in some sort of real estate. Whether that's long-term investing, Airbnb investing, or fix and flip, or development. Another great reason why this works is you don't need a real estate license, and you can get started with very, very little capital. You don't need a ton of money to get started. There are ways to get started with zero capital. I do recommend getting started with a little bit of capital, but again, don't be scared if you have zero money starting out. My favorite part of this industry and why I think it's better than any other industries is because the banks and the lenders fund up to 80% loan to value, and it's all based on the deal, not your net worth. So basically, you can get 80 to 90% of the money to get into your first fix and flip with only 10 to 20% out of pocket as the down payment. And I do teach in my mentorship on how to do it with other people's money and 100% out of zero money out of pocket for yourself and 100% funded by other people. The pattern in this is you find distressed properties, you flip it and collect profit. Why real estate businesses win? The advantages, it's very, very scalable. Again, banks pay for 70 to 90% of the deal, and no other businesses are going to give this leverage. For example, right now, because we've been in the industry for 5-6 years now, banks pay for our deals 90 to 100%. So I sometimes come out of pocket $0 to get into a fix and flip deal because of our reputation with the lenders. They trust us in paying them back on time, and especially if the deal is good enough, they're comfortable to giving us 100% of the money plus construction costs. Again, you don't need a license to start, and big profits. The average profit for wholesale, I put here 15 to 20K, but right now our average assignment fee for this year is around 25K. Our average flip profit is 30 to 40K, I would say across the board since we started, but now we're really only looking at deals that are 40 to 50K profit. Another reason why we love this business is it's recession proof. People need a place to live no matter what. Housing is always going to be in demand. And this is why people get rich so fast in real estate. The 4 simple steps to get to 100K in real estate, the most important step out of all of them is going to be find a cheap house. You want to look for homes that need work or sellers who need to sell fast. So we're looking for 2 types of distresses, either property distress or homeowner distress. Property distress is, the roof needs fixing, property's just in terrible condition. And then seller's distress is, they're probably going through a situation where they need capital or they need funds fast, and they're going to want to sell quick. Another reason with reasons why seller might be motivated is foreclosure. They're behind on their payments and they need to sell quick before their property goes to auction. The step number 2 is get it under contract. You want to learn how to run your numbers, get in a good price. And again, this whole process from the step 1 and step 2 is free. Talking to sellers and locking in a good price, getting under contract, that's all free. The only part that's going to cost money here is if you're going to spend money on inbound marketing. Outbound marketing is going to be very, very cheap. I can get into it later down the line in the other slides. Step 3 is you want to sell the deal or fix and flip it. Selling it right here would be wholesaling, or fix and flipping it would be obviously buying it, fixing it, and then selling it. That's step 3. And then step 4 is you want to repeat it until you hit 100K. You want to do a few good deals and stack the profits. We really, really focus on doing bigger profit deals versus high volume of deals. Instead of doing 20, 25K profits, we like to look at 40 to 50K profits average on our flips. And this is kind of a more safe way to do it, just because if the market does turn around, we're not going to be caught holding the bag. We bake in enough profits on our deals where they're kind of no-brainers. The risk is very, very low. So step one, let's get into it. You want to look for houses that need work, find sellers who need to sell fast, and you want to avoid pretty move-in ready homes, stuff that's newer built that, they don't really have distress. The seller's probably not going to be in distress and the property's definitely not in distress. So you want to, look for cheap houses. Cheap houses equal big profits. I like to say, the uglier the house, the bigger the profit's going to be. Yeah, and here we get into, the options on how to find deals. Option one, this is obviously starting out with a little bit of capital. You're going to want to pay for ads, and these are when leads come to you. Homeowners are going to pick up the phone, they see your ad, they're going to say, hey, I want to sell my house on 123 Main Street. And then option two is you want to use free or cheap, outreach methods like texting, cold calling. I put mail in here. Mail is kind of in between. It's not very cheap and it's not very expensive, but it can be a low cost method, especially if you're doing land. Like mail is probably one of the best methods if you're doing land only. So again, yeah, option one, very high cost lead source, Google ads, Facebook ads. Option two is like cheap or free, texting and calling. Mail is kind of in between. Again, cheap houses equal profits. Step two, getting under contract. You're gonna want to lock in a good price, and this costs little to no money. Again, getting a deal under contract, you're just gonna need DocuSign and talking to a seller. It's basically costs no money. You're gonna run the numbers and then decide your offer price. I can teach you guys in another video. I'll probably drop the link on how you guys can get to your offer price. And then once you agree on a low price with the seller, you're gonna want to send them the contract, and then hopefully they sign it. And now you guys control the deal. You basically have equitable rights in the property within the contract. Step three, option one is to sell the deal, post the deal in a Facebook group. If it's a good deal, it sells fast. I like to tell this to all my students. If you guys have a good deal on your hands, the deal will sell very, very quick. If you have a $400,000 house or a $400,000 neighborhood, and you're selling your property at $300,000, that deal is going to sell very, very fast. There's so many buyers that want to buy a $400,000 property for $300,000. It's a no-brainer. A lot of people will buy it. If you post it on Facebook, you'll get flooded with DMs. Your second option is fix the house. This process can be a little bit scary. You're gonna want to talk to contractors, get bids on the house, fix the property, and resell it. Both options make money. Again, you don't want to just talk to one contractor. You want to interview tons of contractors and get I like to get a minimum of 3 bids on all of our construction, anything that we're doing. If it's gonna be flooring, painting, I like to get 3 bids each. Now obviously we have handpick 1 or 2 that we know have best prices, great quality, that we only work with. When you're just starting out, you want to talk to as many contractors as possible, kind of throw feelers out there. Another key tip right here is never pay for the construction up front. What I usually do is just pay for the materials and then pay for the labor as they go. And I always pay 100% when they're finished. I never pay, for labor before they have even started. That's definitely a no-go. If a contractor is telling you to pay up front, run away. Step 4, repeat until you hit 100K. So you want to do a few good deals, stack the profits, and focus on just one good deal, get paid, do it again, and stack the money. For example, 5 deals at 20K per deal, these are going to be wholesales, equals 100K. For wholesaling, you're going to definitely be getting a lot of people that try to tell you to wholesale 10K profits are good. I like to focus on bigger deals so we can do less work, more profit. So for example, at 5 deals, 20K per profit, that gets you to 100K right off the bat. If you're going to do 10 deals at 10K a pop, that still will get you to 100K. But less is more. Try to focus on the biggest deals. Like bake your profit into your calculations when you're running the offer, and try to focus on 20K minimum. Why you should go for bigger deals? Bigger deals, obviously more money, same work, bigger payoff, and you need fewer deals to hit your goals. The 3-month first deal breakdown. So first month you find a cheap house. Month 2 you get it under contract, and month 3 you're gonna sell it or flip it. This can be faster depending on what lead source you're doing. If you're doing inbound deals, you can get your first deal within the first weeks. If you're doing outbound, it can take you a little longer, around a month. For example, the first deal is 25 to 50K profit. 2 deals will get you at 50 to 100K. That's why bigger deals win. Okay, sorry, I had to switch. My other camera died. So yeah, why is this better than any other business? Banks help pay for it. You don't need a license, and you don't need any of your own money. And one deal can pay for months of work. Again, a $40,000-$50,000 deal, that's basically somebody's salary for the whole year. All you need to do is do one real estate deal. People always need houses, and yes, you can start part-time. Most businesses need money first. Real estate pays you first. I like to always tell people, you don't need any money to finding good deals, and finding good deals is how you get paid in real estate. It's the most important part is how to find a good deal. Your action plan for what you guys can do to start today. Excuse me. So the action plan for what you guys can do to start today. You want to pick one market. I like to pick your backyard, your city. You know, when I was in Vegas, that's where I started. So wherever market you're in, pick your backyard, and that's the best way to get started. You want to choose how to find your deals. If you're going to do ads, run ads or outreach. You know, again, ads is a higher cost method. Outreach is cheaper. So it really depends on how much capital you want to get started with. Ads, you can get your deal faster. Outreach is going to take you a little bit of time. You're going to want to talk to sellers every day, run the numbers of your deals, make offers, and get your first deal. Again, action beats waiting. You want to start as soon as possible. Well, you're probably thinking, I don't have money. Most students actually start with, the low cost methods. They start with $0. I've never done this before. No one has until their first deal. I had zero experience getting started. I didn't know anything about construction. I knew nothing about real estate. What if I mess up? Deals are protected by contracts. It's really important in real estate. Both sides are protected, the seller and the buyer, with contracts. So there's nothing to really be scared about. I don't know enough yet. You're going to only learn by doing, not waiting. The best way to learn how to do this business is to get started, buy your first deal, start talking to sellers and start running numbers, talking to buyers. You're going to learn a lot so fast in this business. What if it doesn't work for me? This works when you follow these steps exactly, step by step. Fear is normal. Action changes everything. Why most people don't do this? The real reason is, they're scared to start, they overthink, and they wait too long. The truth is, you learn by doing, and action builds confidence, and the ones who start win. So, you know what I mean by like action builds confidence is you're going to get more confident talking to sellers as you start talking to them every single day. Again, you're going to learn by doing. You're going to learn your market. Every market is different. You're going to learn where your buyers like to buy, what neighborhoods sell faster, what neighborhoods sell slower, what neighborhood buyers pay a premium for, like golf course views, etc., etc. You're just going to learn by doing. My results, for context, I'm a college dropout. I started with zero. I closed real deals. I built a multiple six-figure real estate business per year, and we're still doing deals today. I'm not a genius. I just followed the system. And that's basically the end of the video. Again, you guys can really build a six-figure business by just following these steps. Real estate has changed my life. It can definitely change yours. All you need is one deal, and like literally, my very first check, I got $25,000, and it changed my life. You guys need one big check like that, 25, 30K. Even if it's smaller than that, it's still a ton of money that can help you reinvest back in the business and just grow and grow. And if it's something you guys want to learn how to do, click the link in the bio. Set up a free call with me, and I'll see if I can help you guys out. Thanks.